All right, I want to thank everybody for the comments on my videos. One of the biggest comments I get is explain the Roth versus regular IRA or regular 401k versus a Roth 401k. You know, my opinion is 99% of people probably should do a regular 401k or IRA. But let me show you the math, because math never lies. You know, for 38 years, I've been a financial advisor. Before that, I was in nuclear chemistry. Math is the only thing. I don't like sales pitches, just give me the math. So let me show you the math on a Roth versus regular IRA. So first, let's start with a regular IRA. Let's say we got $100,000 in it. Let's assume the 25% tax bracket. So therefore, we got $75,000 in the Roth, right? So what we're going to do now is use the rule of 72s, which basically means that 7% a year your money doubles. So let's say in 10 years, we got $200,000 in the regular IRA. We got $150,000 in the Roth. Remember, that's tax-free, right? Let's assume the same 25% tax bracket. So if you take 25% of 200,000, it's going to come out to 150,000. The exact same number as the Roth. There is no difference. But what happens when you're in the lower tax bracket in retirement, which 90% of people are? In other words, you don't have a paycheck anymore. So you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. So let's assume 15% tax bracket in here. So you take 15% off of 200, you're at 170,000 after taxes instead of 150,000 in a Roth. Now, if you're in the 37% tax bracket now and you know in the foreseeable future in retirement, 37, you are protecting yourself against future tax increases. But when these kind of levels, the average person makes 100,000 a year in retirement, you're always going to be better. Anything under, say, 400,000 or 500,000, you're going to be better off in a regular IRA versus a Roth. Think about this. When they first came out with the Roth, they said you had a certain income limit to switch them from a regular to a Roth, right? Now they say, nope, unlimited. You can switch anytime you want. Why do you think they're doing that? They're doing that because they get more tax money. When you convert these things, typically you're at the highest tax bracket. You're 50s, 60s when most people are converting this stuff. You're at the highest tax bracket you'll ever be. So they're getting people in the highest tax bracket instead of a regular IRA. Nobody cashes out a 401k or an IRA immediately. They cash out over time. So the government would be getting this 10 or 15% taxes for a long period of time, or they get 25 day one. Time value of money says that's worth way more to the government. So anytime you think the government's giving you a gift with Roth, they're really giving themselves a gift, not you.